Good evening. Welcome, everybody. Well, we are moving along. We are exactly at the halfway point. We are on the 25th day of our 49-day count, which leads us to the 50th day, which is Shavuot. So we are moving from Passover to Shavuot. We are, in a sense, reenacting our wanderings through the wilderness as we wander through the wilderness of our own being, of our own landscape inside of ourselves, of our own emotional state, and we actually have the accessibility of the 7 emotional attributes of the Sefirot to help guide us. So we are in Netzach, which is endurance in endurance. So we're going to go over 7 steps to endure hardship and overcome the odds, which is something that we need to be able to do in order to endure. So you remember the song, "He Ain't Heavy, He's My Brother"? Well, think about that. You know, we as a humanity right now, we have so much going on, and we really need to love one another as brothers and sisters, as we all are sharing this planet. We are all one humanity needing each other with the ability to endure if necessary and actually have the strength within us to be able to overcome any situation or crisis as it arises. Endurance in endurance. This is a double portion. Just like what we had when we were wandering in the wilderness, we got a double portion of manna. So we have a double portion, which is providing extra sustenance and the opportunity for additional blessing. So to better understand our Sefirot, yesterday was Tiferet in Netzach, compassion in endurance. If you haven't watched that, go back and watch it. Now we have to really think about this. What's different about it? Okay, so we have compassion in endurance or endurance in compassion. There's an actual real subtle difference there, but it's there. And that's what it's like as we go through our weeks as we progress. So we are ultimately focusing on the weekly theme, but then the different emotional attributes that affect our foundational attribute of the week, they just sort of weave in and out. So as we said, today is day 25, Netzach of Netzach, endurance in endurance. Human beings are resourceful and generally able to withstand almost anything. At our best, we are survivors. We can rise above to endure and to succeed, having Netzach in Netzach, a double portion of endurance that actually helps. It is said that the power we discover inside ourselves as we survive a life-threatening experience can be utilized equally well outside of a crisis too. We must say, I am in every moment capable of mustering the strength to survive again, or of tapping that strength in other good and productive, healthy ways. We are in a crisis almost beyond compare right now with what we're going through with COVID-19. And on top of it, over the last couple of weeks, we've had some floods, we've had some small earthquakes, and in a few months, it's going to be fire and hurricane season. This is a lot. It's a lot we've been through, it's a lot we're going through, and it's a lot that's going to be coming up, and we have to prepare ourselves. The human spirit has a great capacity to survive, and not only survive, but to rebuild time and time again. John F. Kennedy is quoted as saying, "The Chinese use 2 brush strokes to write the word crisis. One brush stroke stands for danger. The other stands for opportunity. In a crisis, we need to be aware of the danger, but we also need to focus and recognize and embrace the opportunity. It is our extraordinary will to survive hardships that helps us to endure with an endurance that restores faith in humanity, faith in our own being, when we are actually sometimes at our most low." Sarmad Hassan wrote 7 valuable lessons to endure hardship and overcome the odds. I have adapted some of his suggestions in business to our needs for today's Netzach in Netzach. So we're going to learn a lot about different things that affect us. The first is going to be, we need to just learn how to let bygones be bygones. So think about if you're really able to do that. We all need to live in the present. Our ability to endure with endurance requires us to learn our lessons from the past and press forward. We need to let the past inform tomorrow, but then actually take care of today, and then tomorrow is going to take care of itself. To be able to endure one day at a time, this will give us the endurance to actually get through today to tomorrow. The next thing is that we want to have a never say die attitude. Never give up. Today is hard, tomorrow will be worse. This is something that Jack Ma says, to never give up. Today is hard, tomorrow will be worse, but the day after tomorrow will be sunshine. When we encounter failure, we tend to get stressed out, we get a little overwhelmed, and we're tempted to give up. For all we know, we might have just been so close. If we had just hung on and endured one more day, everything could have turned around and we actually might have been successful. We need to remember this when we're in that moment to be able to have the endurance to endure. So there's a story of an actor who actually lost everything, but he endured incredible hardships until he actually became one of the top TV stars. He endured until he attained what was most important to him. He had the passion and the drive and the will to overcome anything and everything until he met his goal. So while we're in this process, we need to expect the best, but we actually have to prepare ourselves for the worst. As I'm saying, we know what's going on in our world right now, but we have to prepare ourselves because on top of the pandemic, we are going to have fire season and hurricane season and then floods. So we have to be prepared. It doesn't mean that we have to be in a negative state of mind. We just have to prepare ourselves. We want the best, we expect the best, but we want to be ready. So Zig Ziglar says that we have to capitalize on what comes. Okay, we know that there might be something coming, but we want to be able to be prepared so we could work to our own benefit. You should always have a positive mindset and think about it. Our energy is important. What we expect, we tend to actually get, both good and bad. Negativity attracts negativity like a magnet. You can be sure of that. So be ready for any outcome or possibility, but stay positive. Now, try to remember in your life, if you can think of the glass as half full rather than half empty. It's going to be a lot easier to have the endurance necessary to endure if you maintain that philosophy. The next thing that we need to do is have faith in our abilities. So believe in yourself. Have faith in your abilities. Without a humble but reasonable confidence in your own powers, you are not going to be able to be successful or happy. And that's what Norman Vincent Peale says. So don't allow your past failures to destroy the confidence that you should have in yourself or your abilities. So how many have done this, where you've dwelled on the past and what went wrong, and then it blocks you from going forward into the future? This will only lead to negativity and cause you to go awry. When we have faith in ourselves, then anything is possible. We can be our best. We can be our best advocate and more able to endure life's hardships because we know we have what it takes to make it through, to endure. And the next one we want to do is to actually learn from our mistakes and improve. Failure is simply, this comes from Henry Ford, failure is simply the opportunity to begin again. This time, more intelligently. Now, one of our biggest and most important challenges in life is to learn from our mistakes. But when we do this, we can go on and we can actually do better. When we have the power to pick ourselves up and endure, we will achieve success. There may be trials along the way. There's going to be some errors before we have, the right mix of everything that we need to go forward sometimes. And this is something that we have to apply right now to COVID-19. We're not going to have a vaccine for a while or medication to actually treat to help everybody without trial and error. And people can't give up. People have to keep trying, keep doing it, making sure that we have progress. Otherwise, we're never going to get out of our homes. We have to have the endurance to endure. Mark Zuckerberg follows this adage, move fast and break things. He has come under fire many times for his missteps, but quickly learned from his mistakes, tackled the issues that made him then able to take Facebook to where it is today. And this is something that everyone so desperately needs at this time. He didn't give up. all the people that have created the technology that we've been able to use at this time to be able to be close together in this socially distant atmosphere has been the motivation of individuals who had the will to endure and to persevere at all costs. Mark Zuckerberg's will to overcome, to learn, and endure has benefited the world in so many different ways, allowing people to connect like never before. So the other thing that we want to think about is that, time does pass. Things change. There's a saying, change is the only constant. Now, it's actually hard to think of a world before COVID. It was only a few months ago, but we are now like the outsiders looking in to television. And television seems to be a greater reality than what we're actually living, whether you're watching movies or you're watching something on the TV, something that was filmed prior to COVID. We're watching people do things that we can't do anymore. Gathering, sharing, celebrating together. This actually it's becoming foreign to us, but we have to think about it. It's gonna pass. So wherever we're at in our emotional state of mind, we just need to say, this too shall pass. And think about in your life when you thought that something was so horrible that it was never going to end, and then it does, and you get to the other side and there is sunshine. We need the endurance within that comes from understanding that change is going to happen whether we like it or not. It's much best to be willing to change or be left behind. Persevere through obstacles and have the passion and the power of your own convictions, and then you will prevail. You will endure to thrive another day, and this is something that we all have to remember. And then last but not least, we need to surround ourselves with the right people. Jim Rohn said you are the average of 5 people you spend the most time with. So think about this. Think about the people in your circle, not just now. You may be more evolved now, a little wiser, but throughout your lifetime. If you hang out with negative people, what's going to happen? You will be negative. The energy that's surrounding you is very negative. If you surround yourself with successful people, you will be more likely to succeed. Just like you are what you think, you are also the company that you keep. Avoid toxic people. Surround yourself with like-minded people, people with compassion, who care, who will go the extra distance for you, with the will to endure, to help you, and themselves get to wherever point, whatever goal you have set. It's important to have helping hands that can lift your spirits, keep you motivated, and help pull you up when you're actually falling down. We need to be able to have this in our life for our own selves, and we need to be able to do this for others. And it's important to be able to dwell in this reciprocal state and then to be able to pay it forward. We all have the ability to endure and the power within us to access endurance. We just need to get out of our own way and activate it. Then we need to share it with others. Netzach of Netzach. Endurance in endurance. We can endure anything as long as we have each other. So you know what? Tune in tomorrow for day 26. We're going to be on the other side. We've gone through the halfway point. We're making our way through to meriting those commandments and a wonderful, brilliant life filled with light and goodness. So we're going to do Hod of Netzach, humility and endurance. See you then.